Since Stanley Fisher left his post as the governor of the Bank of Israel in July, finding a suitable successor has become a real fiasco. Two appointed governors had to resign because of stories that were published about them in the media. Although she has been acting governor since Fisher left, Dr. Karnit Flug was snubbed twice for the post before Netanyahu finally realized she was actually the best candidate for the job.
Joining me now is the bank's Deputy Governor, Karnit Flug.
Professor Elise Brezis, who heads the Aharon Meir Center for Banking at Bar Ilan University, claims that Prime Minister Netanyahu wasn't very comfortable initially with Flug because he felt she didn't respect enough his economic policies in reports that she has published.
It's true that in some of her papers, Karnit said that the big changes that happened in the Israeli economy were not due really to the policy of Netanyahu, but it was something that was already in the past. I'm not sure that this is really the reason, but there was a feeling that Karnit Flug is more on the left side of the economy, that she really has a feeling that we have to take care more on inequality than on economic growth. And I think that from this point of view, Netanyahu didn't feel very well about it.
Hazi Stanley, the chief financial commentator at Israel Hayom, admits it was very interesting to follow how the process of staffing the highest position in the economy in both Israel and the US ended up being very similar.
Finally chose an economist that has a very long experience and very good reputation from the Fed. And in Israel it happened a bit like that as well. An economist with a very long experience, very experienced economist from the Bank of Israel was finally elected.
The financial analyst of the Globe's financial newspaper, Avi Temkin, says after the Israeli politicians created the financial havoc, it will be up to the women at the head of the Israeli financial world to make it all right again.
We have now 3 women at the head of the commercial banks. 3 of the main figures at the Treasury are women. Now we have a female governor of the Bank of Israel. And this is not Israel only, this is happening all over the world. That women are finally entering, at least in the financial world. Politics is still a world which men are defending as their turf. But apparently in finance this is less the case, maybe because they did such a good job bringing the crisis. So now it's the time for women to show what they can do.
The head of the Aharon Meir Center for Banking admits that we live in times where we can't talk anymore about the glass ceiling when it comes to women power in the economy.
In Israel, as in the US, and at the head of the IMF today, you have also a woman, Christine Lagarde. You have Janet Yellen in the US, you have now Karnit Flug in Israel. But don't make any mistake, it doesn't mean that women today are ruling the world. This is far from the truth, because the power is still at companies, especially companies of firms of investment. And there, if you will look at the board of directors, you will see that there are not a lot of women. There is no doubt that this is a good start. There is no doubt that we can't speak anymore on the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is broken. This is clear. But we need even to have more parity everywhere and more equality everywhere. And this is important that women will enter in board of directors of important banks and also important investment firms.
You can call it serendipitous, but the fact that Dr. Karnit Flug was chosen as governor of the Bank of Israel at the exact same time that Janet Yellen was chosen as the first woman to head the Federal Reserve says something about how close Israel and the US are in their decision-making process. For JN1, I'm Jacobsohn in Tel Aviv.